Beanul stood at the edge of the landing zone, watching the alien ship descend slowly from the clouds. The engines hummed quietly, not like Earth's old rockets. This ship was smooth, silver, and shaped like a flying leaf. It made no noise when it touched the ground. The air shimmered around it. Behind him, military officers and diplomats stood in neat lines, waiting to welcome the guests. But Beanul wasn't just another soldier today. He was handpicked for a rare mission. He had been chosen to be the personal bodyguard of 2 alien visitors from the Varnari Empire. These visitors weren't just any aliens. They were twin sisters ambassadors from one of the most advanced races in the galaxy. He tightened his grip on the strap of his gear. This was supposed to be a peaceful mission, but deep inside, he felt unsure. What if he failed? What if they didn't trust him? The ship's door opened with a soft click. A soft blue light spread over the ramp. 2 figures stepped out together, walking side by side, tall and graceful. They wore robes that shimmered like water under the moonlight. Their skin was smooth and lightly golden, with eyes glowing faintly violet. Beanul couldn't tell them apart at first. The twins looked exactly the same. One of them stepped forward and spoke. "I am Lyra. This is my sister Zani. We greet you, people of Earth." Her voice was calm, soft, and clear, even though she didn't move her lips. It echoed directly in his mind. Beanul blinked in surprise. He had read about their telepathic speech, but feeling that was different. The crowd clapped politely. Earth's ambassador stepped forward and welcomed them officially. But after all the formal words were said, it was Beanul's turn. Lyra and Zani both turned to face him. They bowed slightly. "You are Beanul," Lyra said. "You will protect us during our stay?" Beanul nodded. "Yes, I'm honored to serve." Zani smiled gently. "We accept the pact. And you must know, we do not just want a guard. We want someone we can trust with our lives." Beanul felt a strange warmth in his chest. "I'll do everything I can." That evening, Beanul followed the twins into the living quarters prepared for them inside Earth's central embassy. The room was large and glowing with soft white light. There were tall windows showing the stars, and floating furniture that shifted shapes depending on who used it. But one thing surprised Beanul more than anything else. There was only one bed. He looked around, then at the twins. "Excuse me, but where's my room?" Zani looked at him calmly. "You will sleep here, with us." Beanul's eyes widened. "Wait, what?" Lyra stepped closer. "In our culture, sharing rest space is the first level of trust. If you sleep far, we cannot connect minds. We will feel unsafe." Beanul scratched his head. "Are you sure?" "I mean, I can sleep in the corner or near the door. You are our protector," Zani said softly. "And if you are far, we will not rest well." Beanul sighed and nodded. Slowly, "All right, I'll stay." He placed his bag near the edge of the large round bed, which seemed more like a soft platform. The material shifted to support his weight when he sat down. The twins changed into sleep robes. Their hair, silver and long, floated slightly, like it had its own breeze. They lay side by side, motionless, eyes closed. Beanul remained on the edge, unsure what to do. He stared at the stars outside, thinking about his strange new duty. What kind of mission was this? Suddenly, a gentle voice touched his mind. "You may sleep now, Beanul. We are safe because of you." He blinked. Zani or Lyra? He couldn't tell. Beanul laid back, trying to relax. The bed shifted again to comfort him. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of the night systems. As sleep began to take him, he heard another message in his mind. "You are part of our circle now. Do not be afraid." He didn't know if it was a dream or real, but somehow he believed them. The next morning, Beanul woke up before the twins. He looked at them, still lying peacefully, their faces calm and relaxed. He didn't feel like a soldier anymore. He felt like he had stepped into something much larger, something mysterious. Later, the Earth Council briefed him about his new responsibilities. He would not only protect the twins during meetings, but also accompany them everywhere, even during private events. He was told not to question their customs, even if they seemed unusual. The unity between Earth and the Varnari depended on these small acts of respect. Beanal stood tall and nodded. Understood. As he returned to the quarters, he saw the twins standing near the window, looking at Earth's sky. "We have chosen well," Lyra said. "Yes," Zany agreed. "Beanal will not fail." Beanal stopped at the door. He didn't know they had heard him coming, but somehow it didn't surprise him anymore. Benil walked beside the twin sisters through the long silver halls of the Earth Varnari embassy. His boots echoed softly on the smooth floor, while the twins moved silently like wind across water. It had been 3 days since he started living with them, and every hour brought something new customs, new surprises, and new questions. They were not like any beings he had met before. Zany and Lyra spoke mostly in short, soft telepathic messages, only using spoken words when humans were nearby. Their minds were always calm, their movements always in harmony. Beanal watched them closely. He was their protector, yes, but now he also felt something else, a strange, quiet connection that was hard to explain. That night, after dinner, the twins invited Beanal to sit with them near the wide glass wall in their room. The stars outside looked huge, shining over the dark land below. "We want to speak," Zany said gently. "About what?" Beanal asked. Lyra looked at him, her violet eyes soft. "You may have felt it already. A change in the air, a feeling in your chest." Beanal raised an eyebrow. "I'm not sure what you mean." Zany tilted her head. "You are beginning to link with us. It is not common, not forced. It only happens with those who share trust." Beanal blinked. "You mean some kind of bond?" "Yes," Lyra said. "Varnari twins are always linked. But sometimes a third can join the connection. It is very rare." Beanal sat back, thinking. "But I'm just a soldier, a human." Zany placed her hand on her heart. "You are more than that now. We feel your thoughts when you sleep. You do not lie. You do not hide." Beanal stayed quiet. He didn't know what to say. Lyra continued. "But there is danger ahead, and we must speak of it now." Beanal's eyes narrowed. "Danger?" Zany nodded. "A group from the Broken Core Empire does not want peace. They do not like Varnari or humans. They plan to stop the alliance." Beanal leaned forward. "Do you have proof?" "Not yet," Lyra said. "But we feel it. Their thoughts pass through space like dark whispers. They search for a weak moment, and we are their target." Beanal clenched his fists. "Then we make sure they don't get that moment." Zany gave a small smile. "That is why you are here. But we must ask you something more." "What is it?" "You must stay with us at all times," Lyra said. "No breaks, no shifts. Only you." Beanal hesitated. "No other guards?" "We trust only you," Zany answered. "You are part of our link now. Others cannot protect us the way you can." Beanal slowly nodded. "All right. I'll stay." Over the next few days, the routine changed. Beanal no longer left the twins alone, not even during private meetings or rest periods. He trained with them in their strange way of combat, using both physical moves and mind focus. The training chamber inside the embassy had floating stones and thin energy wires. The twins taught Beanal how to move silently, how to feel danger before it came, and how to block weak telepathic attacks. "You think with your fists," Lyra said one afternoon during a lesson. "Try thinking with your breath instead." Beanal exhaled slowly and followed her lead. Zany added, "And feel your heartbeat. It will tell you when the enemy is near." At first, Beanal struggled, but little by little, he started to understand. It wasn't just fighting, it was sensing. It was connection. One evening, while they sat near the stars again, Beanal noticed. Lyra was quiet. He turned to her. Something wrong? She didn't speak with words. Instead, he heard her thought. I remember our home. Beanal looked at her carefully. Do you miss it? She nodded slightly. The sky there was green. The rivers floated in the air. We left it for peace, but sometimes we feel alone here. Zany leaned her head on Lyra's shoulder. Earth is strange. Beautiful, but different. Beanal looked at both of them. You're not alone. Lyra smiled faintly. Thank you. Later that night, Beanal woke up to a strange sound. A soft whisper in the air. His soldier instincts kicked in. He reached for his weapon and stood up quietly. The twins were already awake, eyes glowing slightly. We felt it too, Zany whispered. Beanal moved to the door and opened it slightly. Nothing outside, but the lights flickered. Power drop. 2. Unusual. We have to move, he said. We go to the backup safe room. Lyra nodded. We follow. The three of them moved quickly through the halls. Beanal stayed in front, scanning every corner. As they reached the elevator shaft, they stopped. Smoke. Just a little. Coming from the control panel. It's not an accident, Beanal said. Zany placed her fingers on the wall. Someone is testing the system, checking response time. Beanal turned to them. Then let's not give them time. He guided the twins through an emergency stairwell, down 3 levels, to a secret safe room he had prepared just in case. Inside, the door locked with heavy steel. They sat together in silence. Lyra looked at Beanal. You were right to prepare. Beanal replied, and you were right. Someone's coming. They all knew something had changed. The threat was no longer far, it was here. But Beanal wasn't afraid. He wasn't just protecting them anymore. He was part of them now. The air was still inside the hidden safe room. The walls were thick and silent. The soft blue light made everything calm, but Beanal's mind stayed alert. He stood near the door, one hand on his sidearm, eyes fixed on the security screen. Lyra and Zany sat behind him, quiet but not asleep. Their minds were awake, he could feel it. Any movement outside? Sunny asked softly. Beanal shook his head. Nothing yet. But that fire in the control panel wasn't random. Someone is testing our defenses. Lyra leaned forward. We must tell the council tomorrow. If enemies are already inside the embassy, we are not safe. Beanal nodded. Agreed. And until we find out who it is, no one comes near you unless I say so. The twins looked at each other, then at Beanal. We trust you, they said together. Those 3 words gave Beanal a strange strength inside. He had been trained for war, for danger, but never for this kind of closeness. The next morning, the system scan showed that the power drop was caused by a small hidden device. It had been placed inside the control panel without permission. Embassy security couldn't explain how it got there. Beanal stood with the twins in the main council chamber, reporting what had happened. This wasn't an accident, he said clearly. We're being watched, or worse, targeted. The Earth. Ambassador frowned. But no breach was found in the outer systems. Zany stepped forward. Then someone from the inside is working with the enemy. The room went silent. Lyra added, if we delay, the next attack will not be small. The council agreed to increase security, but Beanal knew it wasn't enough. He kept the twins close and never left them alone, not even during small events. 3 nights later, it happened. A peace ceremony was held at the Unity Garden, just outside the embassy walls. Important guests from 5 different planets were present. Light music played, and the garden was filled with strange alien flowers and soft glowing orbs that floated in the air. Beanal stood behind Lyra and Zany as they greeted a group of diplomats. His eyes moved constantly, watching the crowd, the trees, the sky. Then he saw it, a shimmer in the air near the far wall. Too fast for normal eyes. but not fast enough to escape his training. Down! He shouted. He pulled both twins down as a sharp beam of light shot through the air, where their heads had been seconds earlier. Panic spread through the garden. Guards rushed forward, but Beanal had already drawn his weapon. He pushed the twins behind a large crystal tree and scanned the area. He saw movement, 3 figures in dark suits climbing the wall. They had small weapons in their hands, glowing red. 3 targets, Beanal called. Top of the west wall. Lyra closed her eyes. I sense fear in them, but also orders. They were told not to fail. Zany whispered, they came to take. US, not kill us. Beanal narrowed his eyes. Not happening. He moved fast, weaving through trees and guests. He fired a stun shot, hitting one attacker in the chest. The figure dropped. Stunned. The other 2 jumped down from the wall, running toward the back gate. Beanal chased them. One turned and aimed, but before he could shoot, a floating orb controlled by Zany's mind crashed into him, knocking him down. The last one reached the gate and tried to escape. Beanal tackled him to the ground, holding him with one arm and pressing a stun baton to his side. The attacker twitched and went still. Guards arrived seconds later. The 3 attackers were taken into custody. Beanal walked back to the twins. His shirt was torn, his arm bleeding slightly, but he didn't care. You're safe, he said. Zen. I reached out and touched his wound. You are hurt. I've had worse, he said with a small smile. Lyra looked into his eyes. You are more than just a guard now. He didn't answer, but he felt the truth in her words. That night, the embassy was quiet again. The attackers had no ID, no data in the system, and no one claimed them. But Beanal knew the truth. The core rebels had made their first big move. The twins sat on either side of him in their room. We are lucky you were with us, Lyra said. Beanal looked at them. It's not luck, it's my job. No, Zany said gently. It is more than a job now. They touched his hands. We want to show you something, Lyra said. They stood up and moved to the center of the room. A small glowing crystal floated above their hands. Zany explained. This is the link stone. When used by 3 minds in harmony, it creates a deep connection, mental and emotional. Beanal frowned. Why are you showing me this? Because we believe in you, Lyra said. And we think you are ready to be one of us. Not just a guard, but part of the circle. Beanal stood still, unsure, but something deep in his heart. Scifi, yes, he stepped forward. The crystal glowed brighter. Their hands joined around it. And in that moment, something new was born, a link between human and alien. Not just of duty, but of trust, purpose, and something that felt very close to family. Beanal sat quietly by the wide window in the embassy room. Outside, Earth's moon floated peacefully in the night sky. Inside, the room was calm, but something in Beanal's heart was not. The attack in the garden had changed everything. The link stone ceremony had connected him with the twins in a way he didn't fully understand. He could now feel their presence, even when they were not speaking. It was not loud, just a quiet sense of their emotions, like feeling the sun through closed eyes. He turned as the door opened. Sani walked in slowly, her steps softer than usual. Where's Lyra? Beanal asked, standing up. She's with the council, Zany replied. I asked for time alone. Beanal looked at her. Is everything okay? She nodded, then sat down on the edge of the bed. I want to speak, not with MindLink, but with words. Beanal sat across from her. All right, I'm listening. Zany looked down at her hands. I've always been close to Lyra. We are twins. Our bond was made before birth, but lately, I felt something different. Beanal's brows drew. Together, different? She looked up, her violet eyes unsure. Since we connected with the Linkstone, I can feel you. Not just as a protector, but as something closer. When you were hurt in the garden, I felt pain in my chest. Not just Fear, real pain. Benel stayed silent, listening carefully. Zenny continued, "In our culture, we only form a triad bond when the third person is pure of heart, loyal, and kind. It is rare. Most Varnari live in pairs. But when a triad forms, it is for life." Benel swallowed. "Are you saying you think that bond is forming now?" "I don't think," she whispered. "I feel it." The room was quiet. Only the hum of the light above could be heard. Benel took a deep breath. "Zany, I came here as a soldier. I didn't expect any of this. But I care about you and Lyra. I'll protect you with everything I have." Zany smiled softly. "That is why the bond is forming, not because of orders, but because of your heart." She stood slowly and walked to the window. "We don't have to decide anything now. I just wanted to share what I feel." Benel nodded. "Thank you for trusting me." They stood together in silence for a while, watching the moon. The next morning, Benel noticed something strange. Lyra was quiet. She moved through her meetings and tasks with her usual grace, but she avoided long eye contact with either Benel or Zany. During the midday break, Benel finally asked, "Lyra, are you all right?" She nodded, but her voice was distant. "Yes, just tired." Zany looked at her sister. "You felt it too, didn't you?" Lyra paused, then gave a small sigh. "Yes." Benel felt tension in the air. Lyra turned toward them. "I saw the bond forming between you two last night. I wasn't afraid. But I felt left out." Benel stepped forward. "You're not. I would never choose one of you over the other." Lyra smiled weakly. "I know. That is why the bond is possible. But it still surprised me." Zany walked over and took her sister's hand. "We are always together. This bond isn't between two, it's between all three." Benel nodded. "Whatever this is, we face it together." Lyra finally smiled, a real one this time. "Thank you both." Later that day, they trained again in the floating combat room. This time, they practiced fighting as one unit. The training orbs moved faster now, shooting small beams of light that stung when touched. Benel moved first, dodging a beam and signaling the twins. Lyra sent out a mind pulse that confused the orbs, and Zany used a floating crystal to block another beam. They moved smoothly like a single body with three minds. Again, Benel called. The orbs came faster. This time, the trio responded quicker. Benel jumped over one, Zany ducked under, and Lyra sent a wave of energy that disabled the last two. They landed in a circle, facing each other, breathing hard but smiling. "You're improving fast," Lyra said. Benel wiped sweat from his brow. "You two make it easy." Zany nodded. "We're stronger together." That night, as they sat on the floor eating a late dinner, a message came through the secure wall screen that it was from Earth's intelligence group. The attackers from the garden had been connected to a known rebel group, the Core Blades. They were part of the Core, Empire's broken army. Now they were trying to stop peace between the Varnari and Earth. "They'll try again," Benel said. "This was only the beginning." Zany placed her spoon down. "We need to find their next move before it happens." Lyra tapped on the table slowly. "Then we must go deeper. Not wait. We must seek them out," Benel agreed. "Tomorrow we speak to the council." "We need permission to investigate directly," Zany nodded. "And we'll do it together." The screen faded to black. The room was quiet again. Benel looked at the twins. "No matter what happens next, I'm not going anywhere." Lyra reached out and held his hand. "We know," Zany smiled. "That's why the bond grows stronger." That night, as they lay on the large, soft bed, Benel felt warmth from both sides, not just physical warmth, but something deeper. He closed his eyes and a single thought passed between all three. We are one now, and outside, far above the Earth, in the dark space between stars, a ship moved quietly watching. The next attack was already being planned. The next morning started like any other. The sun rose over the white towers of the Earth Varnari embassy. Birds flew past the tall glass walls. But Beanal felt a strange weight in the air, like the calm before a storm. He stood beside Lyra and Zany in the main hall. They were preparing to speak with the Earth Council again. The attack from the core rebels had shaken many leaders. Some now feared that the peace between Earth and the Varnari would not last. Beanal's eyes moved over the crowd. He didn't trust everyone here. Not anymore, he whispered. Stay close. Something feels wrong. Zany nodded. I feel it too. Someone nearby hides their thoughts. Lyra touched her temple. A shadow in the mind, nearby. As the meeting started, Beanal stayed alert. The twins stood calmly at the front while Earth's ambassador welcomed the leaders of 5 alien nations. But Beanal noticed someone across the room, a man in a dark uniform with a small scar on his jaw. It was Officer Rain, a mid-level guard from Earth's security team. Rain was supposed to be on outer patrol today. Not here. Beanal narrowed his eyes. He slowly moved through the crowd until he stood near Rain. Didn't expect to see you inside. Today, Beanal said in a quiet voice. Rain looked surprised, then forced a smile. Change of orders. They needed extra help inside. Beanal nodded slowly. Strange. I gave the orders this morning. Rain's smile faded. Before Beanal could say more, the lights in the hall flickered. Then a high-pitched sound rang through. The air sharp and painful. The crowd gasped. Some covered their ears. Beanal turned fast. Lyra and Zany had fallen to their knees, holding their heads. They're targeting their minds. Beanal shouted. He ran to them and activated his shield band. A blue energy field wrapped around the 3 of them. The sound vanished inside the shield, but outside, people were panicking. Dock guards rushed in. Beanal shouted, "Lock the exits!" No one leaves, but it was too late. Rain was already moving. He sprinted through the side door, disappearing into the hallway. Beanal helped the twins to their feet. You two okay? Lyra breathed slowly. It was a psychic pulse. Designed to hurt Varnari minds. Zany added, it came from inside the room. Beanal clenched his jaw. Rain. 2 hours later, Rain was still missing. Security searched every corner of the embassy. Cameras showed that he had entered the old lower tunnels, passages left from the embassy's construction. Beanal joined a small team and led the search. The tunnels were dark and quiet, full of dust and echo. Careful, he told the guards. He may not be alone. They moved in silence, lights on low beam. Then one of the guards stopped. Sir, he whispered. Pointing to the floor, Beanal saw a small device, half buried in the dust. It had a blinking red light. A transmitter, Beanal said. He's been sending messages. Suddenly, a voice echoed from deeper inside the tunnel. I never trusted the aliens, Rain called out. They're dangerous. They pretend peace. But they plan control. I stopped them before it was too late. Beanal answered firmly. You attacked during a peace meeting. That's not justice, that's betrayal. Rain stepped into the light. His eyes were cold. You don't understand, Beanal. They're changing you too. Look at you sleeping beside them, taking their side. You're no longer fully human. Beanal stepped forward. No, I'm more human than ever, because I chose peace. I chose to protect. Rain raised a small weapon. Then you're in my way. Before Rain could shoot, Beanal moved too fast. He grabbed the weapon, twisted it away, and knocked Rain to the ground. The other guards helped cuff him. It's over, Beanal said. Rain stared up at him. You've already lost. Others are still out there. The core rebels won't stop. Beanal stayed calm. Then we won't stop either. Back. In the safety chamber, Lyra and Zany waited. When Beanal returned, Zany ran forward and hugged him without words. Her arms around him were warm and gentle. You found the traitor, she whispered. Benno nodded. It was Rain. He planted the psychic pulse device and tried to escape through the tunnels. Lyra sat down slowly. This means the enemy has help on Earth. They may try again, stronger next time. Zany said, "We can't just defend anymore. We need to take action." Benil agreed. "Then we strike first. We find their base and stop them before they hurt more people." He looked at both sisters, "But we do it together." That night, the bond between the three felt stronger than ever. They didn't speak much. They didn't need to. Their thoughts flowed gently between them like a soft river. Benil lay back, looking at the ceiling. "I used to think strength came from standing alone," he said. "But now I see. Real strength comes from trust." Lyra smiled. "You are learning the Varnari way," Zany whispered, "and your way too. Earth and Varnari are different, but together, we are better." Benil felt peace in his heart for the first time in days, but far beyond the embassy, in the dark corner of an asteroid field, a hidden ship blinked to life. The real enemy was ready to strike. The embassy halls were quiet, but Benil couldn't relax. The air felt heavy, like a storm was coming. He stood near the control room, watching the main screen with narrow eyes. Satellite signals showed something strange, an object moving fast toward Earth, hiding behind space debris. Lyra and Zany stood beside him. Both looked calm, but Benil could feel their thoughts sharp, alert, focused. Zany spoke softly. "It's them, the core rebels." "They're coming," Benil nodded. "And this time, they're not sending spies. They're bringing the ship." Lyra touched the screen gently. "The ship is too quiet. No communication. That means attack." Benil turned to the chief of security. "Get every defense unit ready. Lock the embassy. We don't wait for the attack, we prepare for it." "Yes, sir," the officer replied. The sky turned dark the next day. A thick cloud of dust covered the upper atmosphere, and strange signals jammed Earth's communication systems. News spread quickly. Something unknown had entered orbit and was moving toward the Earth Varnari embassy. Leaders of both worlds rushed into the meeting room. Everyone looked tense. "The core rebels are here to stop the alliance," Benil said clearly. "This is their final move." Zany stepped forward. "They want to break our bond before it grows stronger, but they will not succeed." "One Earth." General stood. "We need to evacuate the ambassadors. Take them underground." Benil shook his head. "No, that's exactly what they want, to separate us." Lyra agreed. "We are stronger when we stay together. If we run, others will fear. If we stand, others will follow." The council went quiet. Then slowly they nodded. "Prepare the defense grid," the general said. That night, the ship appeared in the sky black as shadow, floating above the embassy. Its body was long and sharp, like a blade. It gave no warning, no message. Only silence. Then the first attack came. A beam of red energy shot down and struck the outer wall. The ground shook, windows cracked. Lights flickered. Benil rushed to the central hall with the twins. Guards ran to their stations. Sirens filled the air. "Stay with me," Benil said. "No matter what." Zany and Lyra nodded. "Always." Dozens of rebel fighters dropped from the ship, using flying packs. They moved fast, dressed in black armor with glowing red masks. Benil activated his shield unit. A blue wall of energy formed around him and the twins. They moved together, Lyra on the left, Zany on the right, and Benil in the center. As the rebels landed, the first wave rushed toward the embassy gates. Benil fired carefully, stunning attackers. One by one, Zany used her telepathic push to throw two rebels backward. Lyra formed a mental shield that blocked incoming beams. "We trained for this," Benil said. "Let's finish it." Inside the embassy, the battle was fierce. The rebels tried to break through doors and windows. But Beanlil and the twins stayed together, defending every step. At one point, 3 rebels broke into the main hall. They aimed at the twins. Beanlil jumped in front of them and blocked the attack with his shield. He rolled across the floor, then fired his stun baton. One enemy dropped. Zany trapped another in a mental lock. Lyra disarmed the last one with a wave of energy, breathing hard. Beanlil stood up. "That all you got?" he muttered. Zany smiled. "There are more." Hours passed. The embassy was holding, but just barely. Then the main power grid failed. The lights went out. Only backup systems kept the shields running. Beanlil looked at the main console. If power drops more, the shield will fall. "We must connect fully," Lyra said. Beanlil looked at her. "You mean the full mind link?" Zany nodded. "It's the only way to create a strong enough energy field." Beanlil didn't hesitate. "Let's do it." The 3 of them sat in a circle, their hands joined. The link stone floated between them, glowing bright, their minds connected fully. Beanlil saw flashes Lyra's memories of flying rivers, Sini's childhood laughter, and his own past moments. When he first met them, when he felt trust grow in. Silenced. Their thoughts became one. A new kind of shield formed around the embassy, not from machines, but from willpower, trust, and unity. The rebels tried again, firing stronger weapons. But nothing passed through. One by one, their systems failed. Their ship lost power. The attackers panicked and began retreating. Earth forces moved in. Capturing the last of them. It was over. The siege had failed. Later, Manil stood with the twins on the embassy roof. The sky was clear again. The enemy ship floated lifeless above them, being pulled down by Earth's defense units. Zany looked at him. "You saved us." Beanlil shook his head. "We saved each other." Lyra touched his shoulder. "The council has made a decision. After what you've done, they want to honor you." Beanlil smiled. "I don't need medals." "No," Zany said. "Not a medal, a title." Lyra continued. "They want to name you the first honor-bonded protector. It means you are no longer just a guard. You are part of the Alliance itself." Beanlil looked at both of them. "And what about us?" Suni smiled gently. "We are still one, always." The wind brushed past them, soft and peaceful. For the first time in many days, Beanlil felt the tension in his chest fade. Peace had returned. But more than that, something stronger had been built. A bond that no weapon could break. Days after the battle, the Earth Varnari embassy was peaceful again. Broken walls were repaired, and the skies above were calm. The dark rebel ship had been taken apart and studied. No more threats came. The core rebellion had failed. Beanlil stood. In the garden, where once there had been chaos and fire, now flowers bloomed again. Floating lights glowed softly among the trees. It felt like a dream. Zany and Lyra walked beside him. Their long robes flowed gently in the wind, and their eyes were calm. But in their hearts, they carried every memory of what had happened. Beanlil looked around. "It's hard to believe this was a battlefield." Zany smiled. "Peace returns like the morning sun, quiet." "But sure," Lyra nodded. "But it returns only because someone stood and didn't run." Beanlil chuckled. "You mean all of us." The twins smiled. That evening, a great ceremony was held. Leaders from every Alliance world gathered to honor the peace, and to recognize the 3 who had defended it. Beanlil wore a black and silver uniform, marked with a special golden circle on the chest. It was the symbol of the honor bonded, a new role created only for him. As he stood before the crowd, the Earth ambassador raised his voice. "This man came as a guard, but he became more. He became a bridge between 2 worlds." Then the Varnari elder stepped forward. "And with our twin daughters, he formed a rare bond, one of trust, strength, and peace. From this day, let it be known across the stars, Earth and Varnari stand united." The crowd cheered. Flags waved. Music filled the air. But for Beanal, the most important part was when Zany and Lyra took his hands and stood beside him. "We walk together," Lyra said. "Always," Zany added. Beanal smiled. "Let's see where the stars take us next." In the weeks that followed, things changed quickly. The Earth-Varnari alliance grew stronger. More Varnari visited Earth, and humans were invited to Varnari cities floating above green oceans and glowing forests. Trade began, schools opened, and both worlds started learning from each other. Beanal remained at the embassy, but his role was different now. He wasn't just a protector, he was a symbol of unity. Many young officers came to him for training. Children from both worlds came to listen to his stories. Even other planets noticed and began to ask for help building peace on their worlds too. One morning, while he practiced sword forms in the garden, Lyra approached him. "You look serious today," she said. Beanal wiped sweat from his face. "Thinking. About what?" "About what's next," he replied. "The rebels are gone. Peace is here. Maybe you don't need me anymore." Zany walked up behind them. "You are wrong." Beanal turned. "How?" Zany looked at him gently. "The bond we share isn't about war or danger. It's about connection." Lyra added, "You are not with us because we are in danger. You are with us because we chose you, and you chose us." Beanal smiled. "I guess I needed to hear that." The twins stepped closer. "Come with us," Zany said. "Where?" Beanal asked. "To our home," Lyra replied. "Varnari Prime." Beanal's eyes widened. "You're leaving Earth?" "Only for a while," Lyra explained. "There is peace now, and we must return to speak with our people. But we want you with us." Beanal thought for a moment, then nodded. "Then I go with you." The journey to Varnari Prime was unlike anything Beanal had seen. The ship they traveled in flew faster than light. Windows showed stars racing past, like rivers of light. Zany showed him Varnari language symbols, and Lyra told him stories of their people's history. They laughed, rested, and sometimes said nothing at all, just enjoying the quiet link between their minds. When they arrived, Beanal stood speechless. Varnari Prime was a world of floating mountains, crystal towers, and soft glowing rivers that ran through the air. The sky shifted colors slowly, like a painting. Strange birds with long tails flew between cities in silence. Zany whispered, "This is where we were born." Lyra took his hand, "And now it is your home too." In the coming days, Beanal met the Varnari elders. At first, many looked at him with curiosity. A human among them was rare. But the twins spoke for him. "He is one of us," Zany said. "He stands not beside, but with us." Lyra added. The elders agreed. A home was given to the three of them, a quiet space near a sky lake, with open windows and soft lights. Beanal helped plant a garden outside. Lyra grew floating flowers. Zany played soft music on a glass instrument that made the whole house glow. Each evening, they sat together, watching the stars. One night, Beanal looked at them and asked, "Do you think others will follow what we've done?" Zany answered, "Some will. Some won't, but even one step toward peace is better than none." Lyra smiled. "And you were the first to take it." Beanal leaned back. "I came here as a soldier. I had no idea what I'd become." Zany rested her head on his shoulder. "You became part of something greater." Lyra took his hand. "You became family." And under the stars of a world far from Earth, the bond between human and alien, between protector and friends, between hearts and minds, lived on, not in battle, but in peace.